us that the power of stories, the beauty of language, and the magic of imagination inspire all of us and bring us together, and filled with inspiration, insightful conversation, and unforgettable moments that we can build it together. As we welcome you and celebrate you, and hoping that this festival would make the community larger, bigger, and include everyone in this path.
The Eyes of My Heart by Gire. The eyes of my heart are all seeing. Heaven opens up to me in all colors. Its hues soft and gold and purple. All of it in glorious splendor and display. The eyes of my heart see heavens every day. Do you too see what I see? I read with my fingers, and as they move across the board, I hope one day I can let you see all the dear sights that my heart sees. Thank you.
It is with great honor and privilege that I welcome you to the third edition of the Penguin Presents the White Owl Literature Festival and Book Fair. Words cannot describe how honored we are to have each one of you with us. Books are the platform through which we encounter stories, content, and opinions, quietly and individually, page by page. But literary festivals are the platform through which we meet the storytellers, the content creators, opinion makers, and we do this publicly, communally, and face to face. Like literature festivals across the world, the White Owl Literature Festival and Book Fair seeks to nurture a culture of reading, create opportunities for readers to meet beloved authors, and discover new voices. Yet, more importantly, and perhaps most urgently, it aspires to be a platform that motivates us to think more deeply, to examine ourselves, question our assumptions, and learn to honor the diversity of others. In a time when the act of reading is steadily declining, and with it, empathy, self-reflection, and critical thought, we invite you to embark on a shared quest. Over the next 2 days, let us slow down and reclaim the power that reading, listening, and thinking offer us, not only to sustain the individual capability to reflect, but to extend our thoughts beyond ourselves towards the good of others. Hear stories unfold, encounter ideas that challenge and enlarge one's perspective, engage, not merely consume. From its very first edition, the festival has continued to evolve by listening closely to our audience and responding to what truly matters to them. Like previous editions, this year's festival brings together a rich and diverse lineup of authors, writers, educators, artists, and cultural voices from home and across India and the world. At the same time, the themes and session topics have been thoughtfully shared, shaped by the interests, questions, and conversations our audience have asked for. We are especially thrilled to welcome Mr. Toshiyuki Honda and his colleague, Ms. Hitomi Toyonaga, and the delegates from Connect Asia led by CEO Rafael Kaido, who have traveled all the way from Japan. With the anime and manga fan base growing steadily across the nation, it is an absolute honor to have these legendary personalities at this year's festival. We thank IDAM for making this possible. In keeping with the festival's commitment to social impact and inclusivity, on the 31st of January, we hosted the second edition of the Run for Persons with Disabilities. This was not just another sporting event, nor a run that ends at the finish line. It was conceived to inspire change, changing attitudes and rethinking how we live, act, and build community with persons with disabilities. Among the 200 participants were runners with visual, hearing, intellectual, and multiple disabilities, running alongside the community in a powerful expression of inclusion. As the sun sets this evening and the night owl stirs, 4 storytellers from 4 districts of Nagaland will gather to share the ancient stories of our people. We invite you to Stories by the Sacred Fire, an evening of remembrance and discovery. For some, it'll be a return to childhood, nights huddled by the fire, ears attuned to the stories of the old. For others, it'll be a first, entering worlds of ancient Naga villages, of love lost and found, of guardian spirits and enduring lore. Join us as we honor a living tradition where memory is spoken and stories keep us rooted to who we are. One of my favorite books is titled Reader, Come Home. I want to adapt it just a bit by saying, Reader, welcome home. May we listen generously, read deeply, and live this place not only informed, but inwardly stirred, carrying with us new perspectives, renewed empathy, and a deeper respect for one another. Welcome then to the incredible and inspiring journey with the White Owl Literature Festival. Before I leave the stage, I would like to honor someone truly special. For the first time, in association with the Nipirio Foundation, we are proud to present the White Owl Librarian's Honor, a recognition dedicated to those who quietly serve as custodians of knowledge and champions of lifelong learning. Today, we honor a librarian whose service spans over 2 decades as state librarian, during which she played a pivotal role in the formation of the Nagaland Library Association. She led the systematic organization of the state library's collections, worked tirelessly for the strengthening of district and rural libraries, and continues to advocate for public libraries while mentoring librarians across the state. May I request the Honorable Speaker, Sri Sharingain Longkumer, to confer this award upon Mrs. Meseno Bisiyek.
As I was sitting there and listening to the festival director, it just crossed my mind that we are all blessed in many ways. What we read ultimately becomes a part of what we speak, and what we speak becomes who we are. And so on this occasion, I would like to urge all the friends and beautiful people who are gathered here today, the significance and the passion of reading. I think in the digital world that we are living in today is a very big challenge. I come from a generation not very old to many of our young friends gathered here today. But I come from a generation where letter writing, reading was a lot of fun. Today, we are celebrating stories and inspiring minds, as the festival director has rightly chosen the theme. I, for one, would like to celebrate her story. It's a beautiful story and it's a beautiful journey. I had the rare opportunity and the privilege to work with the chairman of the Nieto Group of Hotels and Resorts, and with our founder, the festival director. I understand and I know how the passion behind what we are witnessing here today, the years, the hours, and lots of travel that Madam had to take to finally make her dream come true. And it's a beautiful dream, and it's a privilege to be part of that dream. She has put in a lot of her energy behind this concept, in forming this white novel. I hope and pray that your initiative, Madam, will reach out to the farthest corners of not only Nagaland, the state of Nagaland, but the beautiful country of India and far beyond. I hope the platform that we have created together creates an opportunity for us to tell each other's story. Our friends from Japan and all over India are here to share your story with us. We welcome you with warm hearts to share our story with you. As you are well aware, Nagaland is a state with a lot of diversity among our tribes. India as such is also a land of diversity. We have much to learn from each other. And what better way to learn than through stories. So I hope the festival and the event itself creates an opportunity for the authors, publishers, storytellers, literates, and everyone to say our stories to one another. I would also like to take this opportunity to urge the beautiful people gathered here today that we should not stop here. We should not stop just on this event, Rather, we should take this opportunity to involve our young ones who are our future. As we live in the digital world, My wife and I, we have been blessed with 3 beautiful daughters. They are very young now, and we have ensured that they stay away from, what should I call it? I don't find a proper word for it, but the nuisance as we know it today, the mobile phone and all those sort of things. There are families and there may be people among us who may unintentionally and unknowingly hand your mobile phone to your children when they are maybe having food, or just to distract them, or maybe you are in a rush to do something and you want to keep your children occupied. Well, let me remind you, the digital world is something which I don't understand. And I'm sure many of you would not understand the depths of it. Something which you don't understand, which I don't understand. Should we take the risk to hand that to our children who are our future? Till such time they come to a stage of understanding and maturity. So as lovers of books, literature, I urge you to encourage our children and the young ones to spend their time reading the beautiful stories, folklores, that many of our authors and writers have so beautifully written. Give them an opportunity to carry with them the stories that have been brought forward throughout the times of our ancestors. Give them an opportunity to be children. Give them an opportunity just to be themselves, to grow in this world. This festival, I have been there since the start. And I'm so proud and happy for Madam and Sir and family that it has reached such a platform where many minds from all over India and abroad are coming together to celebrate one another's story. I hope and wish the very best to the festival director. And as you go back to your homes after the festival, please remember that the books that you read will ultimately become the words that you speak. It will become a part of you, and the words that you speak will ultimately become who you are. And with those few words, thank you, and a big, big congratulations to Madam Atono and his loving husband who has been the strength behind her, the family, extended family, and all of you for your support with your presence. And I wish all of you a very, very happy festival. Thank you.
Today I must also acknowledge the role played by platforms like the Shillong Poetry Circle when it comes to highlighting writing in English in northeastern India. Though we have seen some amount of writing in English by our people in the 1960s and the 70s across the northeast, it was only in the 1980s that we saw a sizable push towards writing in English. The Shillong Poetry Circle used to publish a magazine called Lyric, which gave an important platform to writers and poets in English from our entire region. It used to produce an annual calendar with poems from across Northeast accompanied by artwork. I particularly remember seeing noted Naga writer Isturin Kire's poems published in one such calendar sometime in the late 1980s, I think, at a cousin's place in Shillong. I was in school there. Then, of course, in the late 1990s, we saw the birth of the Northeast Writers Forum in Assam, which contributed significantly to the expansion of writing in English by our people. By then, we also saw several women writing in English too. I remember my father then talking about reading prominent Naga writer, poet, and ethnographer, the late Temsula Ao, writing biblical narratives through the prism of indigenous laws and beliefs in English, making the language her own, and thereby expanding her reader base beyond the Naga society. By the way, she's an alumni of my school in Golaghat. The role of Writers' Workshop here also must be acknowledged for publishing writing in English from this vision. The mainstream publishers were a little late in recognizing the potential of Indian writing in English from this vision, but the tide turned, I should say, by the early 2000s. We saw Northeastern authors getting published by Penguin, HarperCollins, Zuban, Katha, etc. It's getting better and better now. So by now we have seen that LitFest can also add considerable momentum to highlight the literary narratives of a state or a region. So herein lies the importance of festivals like this one. It has come at the right time, I would say, because A, it can help farm up a reading habit in our local people by making available quality world literature written in English. It was so difficult, I tell you, accessing books in stores while I was growing up in a town less than 2 hours from Dimapur in the 1980s. That situation had changed. And B, it can provide a platform alongside the mainstream Indian global authors and storytellers to the local and regional authors, our poets and novelists, the short story writers, non-fiction writers who are writing in English. This is the ideal platform. And mind you, our tribe is only growing. We are growing in numbers. Today, even to just talk about Nagaland, I have to hold up that we have a considerable number of poets and authors writing in English. It's a huge catchment area for mainstream publishers, and LitFest like this one is therefore an ideal platform. Yet another advantage this platform can provide to Northeast India is English translation of our regional gems. That market is waiting to be tapped. Today, the younger generation of even our own communities who are more or less reading in English, they don't know much about this because those books are not available in English. Additionally, the initiative can also provide a whole new world to book lovers in the rest of the country and the world, along with giving an opportunity for a younger generation to also know who we are in a language that they are comfortable. Since I am a non-fiction writer, I'm particularly hopeful that mainstream publishers, including Penguin Random House, will help bring out the many fascinating stories we have which are still hidden from the world. It includes well-researched biographies of some of the most formidable men and women this region has produced. We are yet to do that work. I would also like to take this opportunity to prod fellow journalists to become writers too. Write particularly non-fiction. Put down the complexities of our issues in simple language. You are anyway the daily documenter of history. So take a step further towards putting down what you have witnessed between the covers for posterity's sake. I'll tell you, history will thank you for doing this. I must highlight here that my journey as an author began all thanks to Penguin Random House reaching out to me in 2018 to write a book on Assam's controversial update process of the National Register of Citizens, since I was reporting from the ground and bringing in elements in English news writing in Delhi, where many others in the newsrooms there weren't able to. It was simply because I was well versed with the background. I took up the challenge in spite of my hectic work life, and it is now writing my third solo book to be published by Penguin again. So I'm sharing this personal journey only to hold up to potential writers and fellow journalists in this part of the world that it's possible. More importantly, when Penguin published my book in 2019, Assam Accord the Discord, it was the first book to be published by a mainstream publisher in English on Assam's anti-foreigner movement after 40 years. And its aftermath, the reflection of which now we see across the country. So when in 2023, the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court, led by then the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, he upheld the validity of the Clause 6 of the Indian Citizenship Act relating to Assam. I saw the judgment referring to my book multiple times. I was so thrilled to see that it served a worthwhile purpose. And it's also perhaps the judges didn't have too many books to understand the Assam situation. Many such literary firsts, are to be achieved yet, as far as Northeast India is concerned. So it's a fertile and rich repository of stories waiting to be uncovered. Let me slip in another instance here quickly. The Underwood Treaty that the Ahom rulers of Assam and Manipur signed with the British East India Company, which was then in Calcutta in 1826, is rounding off 200 years this February 24th. It was a treaty that also brought in the Rakhine state of Myanmar under British control. Now, if you look at the Rohingya issue, which is a direct link to that treaty, so also the rise of quite a few armed movements in northeastern India, including in my community, even among the Manipuris too. But where is that book? Looking back at the treaty, marking its 200 years. This is just one example of what is possible here. Taking steps in that direction is doubly important, also because our histories are hardly taught outside our states. Both White Owl and Penguin are in good hands. So I therefore hope that they together will continue to take up the cudgels to roll out more such firsts when it comes to telling and retelling stories from the Northeast, fiction or non-fiction, poetry or memoir, biography or travelers, comics or graphic novels. So let me stop here by wishing you the very best to the organizers. It's a great privilege, and thank you. And let's end in Naga saying, "Bisi thanks, spicy." Thank you.